Hey guys, today I want to talk about the recent news that's been going on. A lot of Genshin Impact accounts have been hacked. Mine, for example, has been attempted to be hacked by a few people. Normally I'll wake up and I'll get an email or a text message saying about verification code or something, which means that someone is trying to get into my account, someone is trying to hack into my account, which is very scary and it does give me anxiety. So I want to discuss that today, as well as some big changes that need to be made with Genshin Impact for the future of the game, in my opinion. And if any of the things that I'm putting down on this list that we covered today that you don't see that you would like to be added to the game, please leave that down in the comments section down below. I'd be happy to see and hear what your feedback is as well. All right, big change number one: two-step authentication, security. Every game has this. This has been the standard. It's 2020, right? Everything has two-step authentication. I'm surprised why MiHoYo doesn't have it. The best way that you can protect your account is only linking your email account and linking your phone number. But unfortunately, if they know your email account or your username for Genshin Impact and they guess your password somehow, they gain access to your account. And if you're not awake, and you'll see that you get kicked off of your account. So if you get kicked off of your account, you can try to log back in quickly and kick them back off before they can do anything with your account. But if you're asleep and this is going on, they can come on, they can log in, and they can spend and do whatever they want. So God forbid this happens to you and you have a lot of Primo Gems like me. They could get on and then just use up all your Primo Gems, and I do not think MiHoYo will reimburse you. There's no compensation, nothing like that. They'll basically just say, oh well, and help you get your account back. And now I'll link, I'll put a link down in the description if you need to know who to contact for MiHoYo support so they can help you with your situation if this has happened to you. But the best way right now is just make sure you have your phone number linked in your email account, and that's it. Hopefully in the future there is two-step authentication. Hopefully MiHoYo does listen and knows what's going on and they take action against this. Big change number two is Resin. Everyone's talking about it. No one will stop talking about it. It's the R word, Resin. We need to see a change, right? They did implement a change, move the Resin from 120 to 160, and that was a good change for people who don't play that often, yes, but for the people who play consistently, not so much. Now, I did think about one idea that we could have, maybe like also changing the recharge rate because it's still 8. Maybe even changing it down a little bit, maybe even like 7 minutes, 6 minutes. Anything lower than 8 minutes, people would be happy with, right? But one thing that I could see for sure happening, MiHoYo could do, is one free condensed resin for completing your daily commissions. So right now, whenever you complete your daily commissions, you end up getting Primo Gems and AR and gold and enhancement ores. That's good. But what about one more prize? Just one condensed resin. And I thought about that. Condensed resin is not that bad because condensed resin can be used on talent up domains and artifact domains and stuff like that, ley lines, but not world bosses. So it's a little worse than fragile resin. I thought about maybe doing fragile resin first, but I don't think MiHoYo would be that generous. If anything, I feel like one condensed resin a day MiHoYo could do, because that's incentive to play every single day to do your commissions to get that condensed resin, and you're forced to use your condensed resin and you're not able to stockpile them like fragile resin. So if that's MiHoYo's fear, if MiHoYo's fear is, oh no, I don't want you to give fragile resin, you're going to end up saving like 100 of them or something like that, right? Do condensed resin. There's a cap on it. You can only hold 3, right? And then you have to use it. So every day you're hopping on, doing your commissions, using the condensed resin that you got on like an artifact domain or something. It's just more farming. I feel like that's something MiHoYo could definitely do for sure if they don't want to go the fragile resin route. Number 3, speaking of daily stuff, incentives to get on and stuff like that, let's talk about daily login. We have a daily login right here, but it's not actually a daily login. It's just a login event. We need to transition from a login event to an actual daily login, much like Epic 7 or any other gacha game where it gives you incentive to log in every single day. Prizes for every single day that you log in. And it can be as small as anything. We have like Hero's Wit and Mystic Enhancement Ores, Primo Gems, and Mora. It can be anything, food items, right? Anything is better than nothing. And hell, maybe even at the end of 30 days, you get a fragile resin. Maybe after the end of every 2 weeks, you get a fragile resin. Change up the rewards a bit. You know what I mean? But that is incentive to hop on and play the game. And I feel like MiHoYo would benefit from this because More incentive to hop on and play the game means you're more likely to actually spend money on the game. Everyone wins. The players are happy, MiHoYo is happy, it's a win-win. We need a daily login, an actual daily login. Okay, so those were the 3 big changes that I wanted to talk about. These other stuff are they're a bit minor right here. We're going to try and get fast and rapid fire through some of these. First up is Geo Synergy with crystals. We all know that Geo Element is kind of lackluster compared to the other elements out there. And introducing the new Spiral Abyss buff, where if you pick up a shield created through crystallization, which is Geo plus any other, you end up creating an AoE blast like this based on that element. So Fire Shield creates a Fire Blast, does fire AoE damage, etc., and it scales based on your shield strength. I feel like this needs to be standard, and I don't know if MiHoYo was doing this as a test to see how people feel about this, but this should definitely be a standard thing for all Geo characters, even outside of the Abyss. This is a big change, and I feel like would make Geo a lot more valuable, useful. Another change would be a training room added to the game, like a training dummy, so you can test your damage numbers, team synergy, where you can just spawn in different enemies, because we all know we have difficulties fighting certain Fatui agents, whether it's the Fatuis, whether it's enemies with a cryo shield around them, or like an aura or anything. Having a training room where you can spawn in these enemies just to train against them and practice would be nice, right? Summoning Child, the Wolf of the North, anything for that matter, because we can only fight the Wolf of the North once. Another thing, talking about bosses, weekly bosses costing no resin. Since they're only one-time clears anyways, it doesn't really make too much sense to have them cost resin, right? They cost 60 resin for the prize, or at least lower the prize, or the resin, if anything, if they're not going to cost free, because that might be too much. I don't think MiHoYo is going to actually do that. But think about it. In the future, there's going to be more world bosses. Child is a new addition. Once we have Inazuma and other world bosses and whatnot, if we're still going to be at 160 resin, 8 minutes per resin, we're not going to be able to do all of our weekly bosses. Especially if you're a free-to-play player, we're not going to have enough resin to do all of our weekly bosses, unless we're doing one weekly boss a day or something like that. Which that's like most of your resin right there gone. And then you have less to prioritize on other things as a free-to-play who's not refreshing with Primo Gems or anything like that. So we need something to do. We need a change with world bosses for sure, in my opinion. And now, talking about world bosses, prototypes. Now, world bosses drops these. They do have a chance to drop these prototype weapons. You use these prototypes to craft weapons via the blacksmith, like I've done here. I have basically every version of the craftable weapons via the blacksmith. They've come in really handy for me. They're all at refinement rank 1, of course. But I think that prototypes need to have pity. And I'm saying this because I'm a free-to-play player. I'm not getting any of the 5-star weapons and stuff like that. I rely heavily on these craftable weapons. And you want to see something? Look at this. These are my prototypes. I've got a bunch of catalysts, yes. But I've gotten not one bow prototype. The only reason why I was able to craft this compound bow was because it was guaranteed via the souvenir shop, and that was it. I never got a bow prototype, and I've been playing the game since it came out 71 days ago from when I'm recording this video. 71 days, and I haven't gotten a single one yet. Like, the drop rate, it's pretty low. We need a change. So either a pity for a prototype weapon, or maybe like a token where we can exchange it. A chance for it to drop a token or something, and we can exchange that token for a prototype via an NPC or something. We need something changed about this. I want to mention that I think the rewards need to be buffed just a little bit. In the closed beta test 2, believe it or not, you were able to get 2,400 Primo Gems, 2,400. Now, you're only able to get 1,200 a month. So you go from 2,400 a month to 1,200 a month, and that's only if you're able to 9-star all the chambers. Right now, this is the most I can do. I can get 7 on 10 and 11, and then 3 on 12. Once I hit AR 50, I'll be able to get 9 stars on 10 and 11 and 9. So that'll net me some more Primo Gems, at least 100 more every 2 weeks. So that's nice. But you have to work your butt off for even less Primo Gems, which sucks for free-to-play players, you know? Back then, it was easy. You didn't have to do much work, and you'd still get 2,400 Primo Gems. Okay, so now last but not least, I want to quickly throw this in. Test runs. We have test runs for characters, which is nice because you can try out the characters. But what I think test runs should evolve into is you do the test run with your current party. So instead of them giving you different characters, because I think for Zhongli, they threw in Lisa and Kaya, have your own party. Let it just be him and then 4 of your other teammates. Proper synergy, and you can actually see how he will feel in combat with your current team. And on top of that, for that test run, they need to also do a test run for weapons. You don't know anything about these weapons. You can't see the details on it. You can't see the stats on it. Unless you're looking up a wiki or watching someone else's stream or YouTube video, you don't know what these weapons do. We need a test run for weapons, and the archive system does not actually show those weapons stats. All right, that basically sums up all the big changes I have for Genshin Impact. Now, I do have some honorable mentions that I'll be putting up on screen if you guys want to pause the video and take a look at that. I've categorized it in different categories. So like co-op changes that I think the game should have, some quality of life changes, and some game ideas. And now most of these ideas have been throughout closed beta tests. So closed beta test 2 or 3 that I've just stumbled upon and thought maybe it'd be convenient to have. You guys can agree with me or not on some of these changes that I've placed up. And for any of your suggestions, if I didn't talk about any of your suggestions that you have for the game, any feedback that you have for the game, please leave them down in the comments section down below. I'd be happy to see your comments and your suggestions. And hell, who knows? Maybe even MiHoYo if we're lucky. Maybe MiHoYo will take a look at this video, see some of the comments, see some of these suggestions, and actually add them to the game. Who knows, right? Fingers crossed. Every update is getting better anyways. They're taking most of our feedback into consideration and actually adding it to the game, which is nice. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful, informative, entertaining, anything, whatever you want to make of it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time.